Hey everybody, it is Aaron at Aaron Tunes, and today I want to start out talking about World War I, or as they called it then, the Great War. And unfortunately, it was a time in history when man's technological ability to destroy and harm other human beings had far outpaced our ability to heal them. And men were becoming horribly disfigured, and of course, thousands upon thousands were dying. And by the fall of 1914, it had become a bloody, muddy affair that was fought in trenches. Trenches that were sometimes so close to enemy trenches that you could smell what they were making for breakfast. And by that first Christmas of the war in 1914, conditions were awful, men were miserable. But on that Christmas Eve, something remarkable happened. And of all the accounts that I've read, they usually say that it started with the Germans singing Silent Night, which of course is a Christmas song that everybody knows. And after they sang it, the British responded by singing the First Noel. And of course, they could hear each other. And as the final notes of those songs were still hanging in the frozen air, scouts from either side popped their heads out of the trenches, and as they felt more confident and assured each other that there was no threat, they came out and met in the midst of that mud and barbed wire. And as the men on either side felt more confident, they emerged, and before long, men from both sides were mingling together, sharing food and drink and cigarettes, and a soccer game broke out, and they wished each other Merry Christmas. And this moment of peace in the midst of the horrors of war started with songs. It started with music. That's the power of music. And there's a quote on the side of the Benaroya Hall in Seattle by Aaron Copland, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm quoting this from memory, but I saw it many times when I lived and worked there. But it goes, so long as the human spirit thrives on this planet, music will accompany it in some living form to sustain it and give it expressive meaning. And in this moment when AI music is kind of the hot topic, that quote has popped into my mind over and over. And I suppose it could be argued that AI music is a part of the music in a living form. It's another evolution of music. I suppose you could argue that, but I don't think that you could argue that music created by a computer has expressive meaning. It's because music or computers don't feel anything. Music is about expressing feelings, and music created by an AI, by a computer, is just an algorithm, cobbling together all these things that have been fed into it. And I would argue that music created by a computer almost kind of falls into that uncanny valley zone, sort of like when you see a humanoid robot that looks human, almost human, but not quite. And when you see it, it's kind of repulsive. And I think that even if AI music gets to a point where it can trick people, as soon as people find out that it was created by a computer, that uncanny valley happens, because it's no longer a human being expressing something else to a human being. You almost feel manipulated, maybe not repulsed or horrified, but you feel manipulated. At least I do. Right now you can still usually recognize AI music. It just kind of sounds like poorly written music. But it may get to a point where we can't tell the difference, and it maybe not even may, it probably will get to a point where it's used a lot. I can see it being a tool used by production companies to churn out copyright-free content to be used in the backgrounds of commercials to sell pens and cars, or to provide music for spin classes in spas and gyms, or background music for YouTube videos. I have no doubt that it's going to be used in that way. There'll maybe even be some top 10 hits written by AI. Who knows? I have no doubt that it will become popular. But I think when people find out that it was music created by a computer, they're going to feel manipulated. I mean, I almost hate to invoke this name, but think about what happened when people found out about Milli Vanilli. And imagine what will happen when they find out that it was actually just not even a human, but a computer. Yeah. Anyway, I think the bigger point is that music isn't just about consuming content. It's about creating it. And when you do so, it's an expression of your soul. When I write songs, it's an expression of my soul. It's the things inside me that I feel. It's, a little glimpse of my life experiences and how I view the world. And a song or, playing a guitar, it's the essence of me. It's how I, stand on the rooftops of the world and sound my barbaric yawp. It's, and a computer can never take that from me. And just because computers are making music doesn't mean that I'm not going to do that anymore. I will always do that. And any musician probably knows how I feel. It's about creating music. And, music is a powerful thing. It helps us learn better. It helps us remember things. People have been using music to remember things since there was music and things to remember, which was a long time ago. Music can make us laugh or cry. It can be used to torture somebody or put a child to sleep. Music can make us afraid or it can give us hope. Music can spread propaganda or sustain a people in slavery. Music can do all of these things. Music has so much power, and I hate the idea of turning that over to a computer. So again, I have no doubt that AI music will become popular, at least for a time, and be used for all those things that I said it would be. But I think that if we ever do turn over our creative impulse to a computer, I think that the part of Aaron Copland's quote that we need to be concerned with isn't whether it's a living form or isn't whether it has expressive meaning. I think we need to look at the first part of the quote and wonder if the human spirit is still thriving on this planet. I don't know. Maybe I'm overstating it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it will not become popular, although I doubt that. I mean, I've seen Jurassic Park. I know that human beings, if they can technologically do something, they do with never asking whether they should. So it'll become popular. And maybe I'm overstating all this. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. But that's how I feel about it today. AI music will happen, but it won't prevent me from creating music. It won't prevent me from expressing my soul. And I think people want that connection. They want to know that their music came from another heart. That's how I see it. And anyway, today, in this video more than all others, remember that music is its own reward, and I will see you next time.